Hello, I'm back. I have read a few books since I last made a video, so we shall talk about them. I believe there were 8 books in my May TBR, and so far I've read 2 of them, and it's May 17th. So that's how that's going. But I read 2 of them, so it could be worse. The first book we'll talk about is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I enjoyed this book. It was very interesting, and I was having a fun time reading it, and the characters were super engaging, and there were like so many different dynamics and relationships to follow, and it was really good. But I rated it 3.5 just because there's like romance at an early age. Like I'm talking 12, 13. And it's a little weird to read about that. So yeah, this is set in ancient Greece, so it makes sense that there's young marriages and things like that, but it's just weird, like, I don't think this is a spoiler, but if it is, I'm very sorry. So I'll just say spoiler alert, but it's right at the beginning of the book. The main character, Patroclus, I don't know how to pronounce his name, is, I don't remember how old he is at the very beginning, but I want to say he was 9 years old, and he was sent to be shown to to marry this princess, essentially. And that was a little weird because he's like 9 and all the other guys are like old men. And I don't know. And there's like there is spice in this book. Okay? And I don't care if there's some sex scenes in a book, but I don't want to read about little kids doing it, man. It's weird. Anyway, so that was a 3.5. This was the first book that I read this month. I was actually filming reading until I read a 5-star book video, but then literally the second book I rated a 5 stars. Yeah. So the next book that I read in May so far was Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is like the holy grail, okay? This book was so good. I bawled my eyes out the entire time reading this book, okay? If you don't know what book is about, it's about the main character, Carrie Soto, who is a professional tennis player, and she retires, and then she comes out of retirement because her world record is about to be broken. Someone else is about to take her record. So she comes out of retirement to claim her record back, and it is so good. It is just so wholesome and like it rips at your heart because there is like the father-daughter relationship because her father is her coach, and it is so good. I want to read this book forever. Okay? And when I was reading it, it felt like I was there. You were put into her life, and you weren't just watching from the sidelines. You were in her position, and it was so good. And this was a 5-star read, obviously. Everybody should read this book. There's no spice or anything like that. And there is a subplot of romance, so that was a little nice. It was cute. Very good. This is the best book I've read all year so far. Amazing. I read it super quick, too. Like, I would read for half an hour and read 100 pages. It's so good. You have to read this book. I don't care who you are, what kind of book you like, what genre you like. You have to read this book. Okay? Now, those are the only 2 books that I've finished so far. But I am currently reading 2 more books and listening to another book. So, The next book we will talk about is The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I'm reading this book because it is on the AP list for my English class and because it's on my puzzle of 50 books that everyone should read. It's a book. I'm just going to read the little, I don't know what these are called. There's like a little quote from someone on the back. If you know what those are called, let me know. It says, "Reading The Color Purple was the first time I had seen Southern black women's literature as world literature. In writing us into the world, bravely, unapologetically, and honestly, Alice Walker has given us a gift we will never be able to repay." So this is about black women going through life in the early 20th century in Georgia. Okay? There is abuse, rape, domestic violence. Okay, so I'm only on page 42. It is written, for example, the word get, G-E-T, is spelled G-I-T. Or, let me just read. Here it says, "She tell me, your skin, your hair, your teeths." Like teeth. Teeths. I don't know how I feel about this book. Of course, it's important to learn about these things and acknowledge that this has happened in the past and we need to fix it and work on it as a society. It's just hard for me to understand. Like, at the very beginning, she calls this guy Mr. Blank. I will, yeah, it just says Mr. Blank, so I don't know who that is. I don't know, I think it's like her husband or her dad. I think it's her husband, but I don't know, okay? This book confuses me. But I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying to read it. I want to get through it. I do, but it's just, it's confusing me. There is multiple trigger warnings. There's literally I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but there's a rape scene on the first page. Okay, so be aware of that. I was not aware of that when I was about to start reading this book. But yes, The Color Purple. Next, we have a book that book was not on my TBR. Neither is this. But it looks intriguing. We have Ninth House by Leah Bardugo. This is about a secret magical society in the Yale. I really don't know how to explain this book, but I actually picked up the second book in this. I believe it's just a duology. But, this is the first book in the duology, obviously. And I actually picked up the second book in the duology, not realizing it was the second book, because it looked really interesting, because there was literally a little rabbit on the front, and it's very, like, yucky looking. But I was really intrigued by the cover. And also on the front of this one, it says, "The best fantasy novel I've read in years, Stephen King." So how could this not be a good book? Tell me. I don't know. But I'm currently on page 43. That is so weird. I'm on the exact, like, I'm on the same page for this book and The Color Purple. It's okay. Of course, this is the world building section. It's just not written in a way that I like. It's very choppy. and it doesn't flow. To be honest, I think it might be because I'm used to reading lots of books in the first person. Or right now at least, The Color Purple is the main character talking to God about all these things happening in her life. Carrie Soto's Back was from Carrie's perspective. The Song of Achilles was from Patroclus's perspective. This is not. This is from a narrator's perspective. So the narrator, is telling us what's happening to Alex. And I don't know. It's weird, I guess. Yeah. I don't like it so far. But I'll still give it some more time. I'm currently listening to Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I don't know if that's how you say her last name. But very classic book. It's on my puzzle. That's why I'm reading it or listening to it. But it's so good so far. How far am I? Oh, it's not even the 17th. It's the 18th today. I'm 33% on this book, and it's doing 6 days, and it's 19 hours long. So I currently have 12 hours and 37 minutes left to listen to. So I better get going on that. But it's super, super good. It's about education, the mistreatment of children is a big theme so far. Yeah, so I'm really loving it. And honestly, I might rate it 5 stars. It's super interesting, and I'm really really enjoying it right now. And I'm excited to keep listening to it. Yes. So in the future, books that I'm planning to read, of course, watch my May TBR to actually see my literal plan for what I'm reading. But I also want to read Pride and Prejudice because I listened to it last year, and I can't even tell you the main character's name. Not a clue. So I'll read it. And I want to annotate it because I don't annotate. And I want to get cute pens and cute sticky notes to annotate, and I'm super excited. And yes. I don't know if that's a book that you usually annotate, but I'm going to. Also, another book that I really want to read, Chlorine. I do not know the author's name, but it's Noelle Gallagher has been talking about it for a while on her channel, and it looks so cool. The cover is super cool. It's like a mermaid tail splashing. It's about like professional swimming and teenagers and like coming of age, and I don't know. It looks super cool, and I want to read that book. She really liked it, so I'm excited to read that. I don't own it, so that's a little bit of a problem. I'm not in the mood to read recently. I think I really just need to like sit down and force myself to like get through 100 pages of a book. And I don't want it to be those ones because I don't want to read them. I have been trying to read The Color Purple in class because we're given time in my English class to read our books, of course. And I've been trying to just make myself read it. And the other day I read like 3 pages in the class. I just keep getting distracted and I don't know what's happening. And I don't feel connected to the characters at all. And I honestly don't know if I'm supposed to because it's such a... Well, it's heartbreaking, honestly. You don't ever want to see such an abusive and toxic family situation. So that's all I have for now. If I don't know, pick up a book that I'm all in love with, I'll let you guys know, but that's really all I've got for recently. I hope you guys enjoyed. You have to read Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Best book ever. If you have any book recommendations that are exciting and, make you want to read more, please leave them down below. Adios.